Good morning, YouTube. This is what I look like when I first wake up and I don't take my makeup off or do anything with my hair. So this morning I woke up. I'm so tired of feeling like this. I woke up and my stomach hurt so bad. Like, not quite all the way to my ribs, but like, definitely an inch or two above my belly button and all around it. It wasn't like a tightening, it's not like a contraction feeling, but almost like if you drink way too much water and like that distended feeling. I have had ovarian cyst rupture before I got pregnant, and it's kind of like a similar feeling, like in the lower area. So, I mean, to me, like now it doesn't hurt at all in the stomach area. Now it's like, an inch below the belly button and down, and it feels like bad period cramps or like ovarian cysts just ruptured. Hurts really bad. And then last night before I went to bed, I was just sitting on the couch. I didn't really have that many contractions, and then all of a sudden I had like a really big one, and sorry, I have something in my eye. I had like a really big one, and then it's not like the contraction itself wrapped around my back, but right after I had the contraction, out of nowhere, I got like really, really bad lower back pain. So bad. Oh my gosh. And I was sitting there on the couch, and like my mom was already upstairs in bed, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And I'm like, what the heck? This is crazy. So I'm like sitting there, I try to put my stuff down and like wobble over to the stairs, and I'm like, Mom, I was like, is this normal? And I know like before when I got contractions, they always ask me, well, does it wrap around your back? And I'm like, no, like it doesn't. So I don't know if I've had Braxton Hicks. I know at the beginning they said I had uterine contractions when I was like 22 to 28 weeks or something like that. But I guess now it's Braxton Hicks because it's just like the tightening and it goes away and it doesn't really hurt. But yeah, it was just weird. And then I got like a really bad headache. Well, I had the really bad headache about a half hour before I got that huge contraction. And I took 500 milligrams of Tylenol because I think that's as much as you could take for so many hours while you're pregnant. So I took one of those like a half hour before I got this back pain. So I'm sitting there thinking, like, dude, if I did not take that Tylenol, can you imagine how much pain I'd be in without, the extra pain reliever or whatever? So it just was not fun. And I basically just took all my stuff and I was like, I can't even sit on the couch anymore. I need to go lay down in bed. This hurts really bad. So the back pain itself lasted about 20 to 25 minutes, and then it finally just dissipated, and I was okay. And then I woke up a couple times throughout the middle of the night, and I had like a slight backache or like slight cramping in my stomach, but like nothing major. And then I noticed when I woke up this morning, I was so nauseous, and my stomach was like distended, and it like hurt really, really bad, to the point where I tried to get out of bed and I couldn't even like roll to my left. I was like, oh my god. And actually, come to think of it, in the middle of the night, I got uncomfortable, so I went to go roll to my left, and I guess I rolled too quick. And I'm sure this is probably not what it was, but it's what it felt like, and I felt like terrible, and I was like, oh my god, I hope he's okay. But like I just rolled to my left really quick, and it wasn't like, warp speed. It was just like, just flip to your left. Anyway, and I guess he must have been like under my hip bone, and I was like, oh my god. And I'm sitting there yelling. I'm surprised I never wake my mom up with this stuff because her wall is right on the other side of my room. So yeah, I definitely felt like I squished him, but I know they said like his skull is kind of shapeable, so I really hope it wasn't his skull. I really hope it was just a cramp, but it felt like I squished him for a second, and then even like I rolled back over because I was like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna lay on that side right now. And then it hurt so bad for like 5 minutes, and I was like, oh my gosh, I hope I did not hurt him. And then like I slowly turned to the left without any pain, like 10 minutes after that. So that was interesting. But waking up feeling like, I don't know, my stomach just hurt so bad. It was like so achy and felt like it was filled with air and water, and it was terrible. And then I finally was able to get out of bed and stand up, and when I stood up, it just hurt so bad, and my lower back pain wasn't as bad as it was yesterday, but I definitely had the lower back pain, and right now I have like this blinding headache. And like I never take medication for anything other than Zofran for morning sickness. Yeah, I still have morning sickness at 33 weeks. Well, I'll be 33 weeks tomorrow. But it's like I'm supposed to take it 3 times a day. I'm trying to wean myself off of it, so I do it like once or twice a day. I'm just tired of taking it, but I still have the hyperemesis gravidarum, and most people usually don't have it anymore. That's why like when I go to the ER, they're like, "You still have that?" And I'm like, "Yes," because if I don't take my pills, I'll be so sick. And like I have not to be nasty, but I haven't thrown up at all, but somehow in the last couple days alone I've lost 5 pounds. And I'm like, I haven't done any activity. I've been actually eating more, unless I jump-started my metabolism or something. And the only thing I can think of is since I haven't been at work, I'm not eating all the crap in the vending machine, so. But I always try to make healthy choices. You know, instead of the bag of Doritos, I was like, pistachios. So, anyway, I called my midwife, or my OB, whichever, same office. And I was like, look, I'm having, really bad cramping. I woke up with my stomach feeling really crappy. Couldn't really move. I can definitely move now. I can walk now. I'm like, it's not as bad. But it feels like a ovarian cyst rupture or like really, really bad period cramps. Excuse me. And I was like, I have a really bad headache. I have lower back pain, but I'm not having any contractions. I wanted to make that very clear. Because I'm like, I don't feel like I'm in labor, but then again, I'm a first-time mom. What do I know? And she was like, well, how many weeks are you? And I was like, I'm 32 weeks and 6 days. I was like, I'll be, I'll be 33 weeks tomorrow. And she's like, well, okay, the first OB I called, because I see 2 different ones. I cheat. I just need the second opinion. I have to. And sometimes they found things that the other place didn't, so. So I told her, and she's like, well, your appointment's ready for tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, well, if something's wrong, I want to make sure that he's okay. I'd rather be safe than sorry. And she's like, well, the only doctor that's here today is Dr., and she said his name, and I was just like, ugh. And she's like, yeah, and he's completely booked. And I was like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? And she's like, well, you could be seen tomorrow. And then she's like, hold on a minute. She's so rude. That's why I hate going to people here, because I live, like, in the ghetto. And then she comes back, like, a minute later, and she's like, well, I can see you at 3:30. And I'm like, all right, fine. See me at 3:30. And I'm like, I am already seeing this doctor. That's the only doctor in the office today, the OB. Otherwise, there's midwives, and they can't really help me anyway, because he's supposed to be doing my disability papers today. And I'm like, I cannot stand this doctor. He is so rude, and he's lied to me like 3 times, and I can't stand that, like, at all. And it just gets on my nerves. And I am already hormonal, and I am not usually this crazy, but I don't know why, but like this whole pregnancy, like especially towards the end, like I'm starting to get so angry. And that's why like my whole like baby name video thing, I actually started laughing, and I was like, man, like I was really mad at some of that for like no reason. But I just blame it on the hormones, because I know I'm not usually like that. I mean, I do think that the things that people name their kids are really retarded sometimes, but I didn't have to take it that far, but that's okay. At least it's something to laugh at now for me. And then I had the appointment at 3:30, and then I have my other appointment tomorrow at the other place, which is the better place, which is where I want to deliver, but they were the ones who weren't really giving me any results, and they were the ones I saw last week who basically didn't care that I was feigning every day, and the chick was so worried about her license, if you remember that story, if you watched, the other videos. And I don't know, like I actually did call another doctor to see if they would take me, but a lot of doctors won't take transfer patients after 32 weeks. And I wasn't quite 32 weeks. I think I was 31 weeks, 6 days, but I guess by the time he would see me, it would be the next day. So he wouldn't see me. I guess it's a liability issue for them, which I understand. But anyway, so what you call it? Yes, so I have to go back to them tomorrow, and I called in. And I hate calling in because, I don't know, it just makes me feel like a problem child, or like, like you have to call in to complain. But like I'm a first-time mom. I don't know like what to expect with any of this. And even if it's my second kid, every pregnancy is different. So I'm sure I'm going to be calling in, well, I didn't have this my last pregnancy. Is this normal? You know what I mean? And, you know, they deal with it all the time, and they should not make you feel like you're a hassle, and usually they don't, but I think I just put myself on a guilt trip because I feel bad for calling in. So I called in and I explained to them what I was feeling and stuff, and she was like, ooh, she's like, I really think that you should go to labor and delivery. And I was like, well, I haven't had any contractions. And she's like, yeah, she's like, but what you're describing could be preterm labor. She's like, you might want to go get checked out. And she was like, you know, just go ahead to L&D. You have your appointment with us tomorrow, and, you know, just tell them to fax us whatever they find, or if they don't find anything, you know, whatever. So she was at least nicer about it, but it's like, excuse me. I've been in the hospital so many times in the last 14 days that I'm tired of hospitals, and I understand it's always better safe than sorry, but like, I really hate hospitals, and especially the one that I have to go to, the local one. It's like, it sucks. But the one that I want to deliver at is like 38 minutes away, and if I keep driving there, first off, I have like a terrible headache. I would never make it. This hospital is only like 8 minutes away. It's just not as good, and the doctors aren't as nice. Sometimes you can get really nice doctors, but it's just rare. The doctors at this hospital near me are pretty much just there for a paycheck, clearly. And even if the ones at the further hospital aren't there for, you know, even if they are there for their paycheck, they're at least really good at faking being nice, which I'd rather have them fake being nice than just completely, you know, unsympathetic and, you know, no empathy, like nothing, you know what I mean? So I wanted to sit here and eat my breakfast before I had a sugar issue, because Lord knows I don't need any sugar issues on top of anything else. I don't want to end up fainting. Yesterday, all I had was a really bad headache and a couple bouts of like dizzy spells. And I turned in my heart monitor yesterday, so hopefully they give me some results, like today or tomorrow. They told me to call in for the echocardiogram results and for the Holter monitor results. So I'm hoping I get something back. Yes, so I'm going to sit here and let my food adjust for like a minute, and then I am going to head to labor and delivery again. But wish me luck. I'm sure it's nothing, but again, I'd rather be safe than sorry. And I'm going to ask them if they wouldn't mind being so kind to check out the baby and the placenta. And because I'm having some weird things go on down there, I want them to check that, because they haven't checked it the last 2 weeks of times that I've been there, 5 times, because they said when you check it, it could actually initiate contractions, or it could, you know, initiate labor, whatever. But things just feel weird, and I just want to get checked out and make sure I'm okay. And as far as the placenta goes, I've been having really weird pains in my stomach, and I'm not sure exactly where my placenta is, but I just want to make sure that like everything is okay. And I told them that I was having weird pains, you know, and to check my placenta the last time I was there, but they didn't even do an ultrasound. They just did the heart monitor for the baby, and that was it. And they're like, well, you're not having any contractions. I'm like, I told you I wasn't having any contractions. So hopefully they don't do that to me again today, because I'm going to tell them straight up, I am not having any contractions, unless, of course, in the way there I have some. So, and if anything changes, if I feel better or anything like that, I'll let you know if I don't go. If I don't go, I guess it's okay, because I still have the appointment at the other place at 3:30. So I will update you guys as soon as I hear anything, I promise. All right, bye guys. Mwah. Thanks for watching.